Hello everyone. Well, I am back again because I just couldn't leave you with an unfinished project. So yeah, let's add a few more touch-ups and add the final glitter we've seen in the original video. First, one very good idea to preview the dynamics of your dissolve. Well, if you scrub through the timeline, this is somewhat sluggish, but you can render a preview, an OpenGL preview, which will render pretty fast. And I just did so to check out the dynamics of our current project. It might be a little sluggish because due to frame rate discrepancies, but well, it should show you somewhat how the final thing will look like. And yeah, it's already looking pretty cool, right? Second, we had this problem with the outer bar parts being a little too dark because the vignette is too tight. So we could change this in the texture setting, but thanks to the compositor, there's an even simpler way to fixing this. And here in the texture panel, you've got two input values. The one is offset, which means the place where your vignette is placed, and the other one is scale. And if we scale it a little along the x-axis negatively, we should this should have fixed everything. Now we got a good looking vignette, and it's no longer darkening the outer edges, I hope. And if it's still doing, we can still increase the scale or decrease. Yeah, sometimes in Blender things work the other way around, but it all makes sense. The fact that you have to decrease the scale in order to get a wider vignette is because in Blender the X scale means how many times does the texture fit into the render. And in this case, 1 means your vignette fits perfectly, and if you increase it, it will mean that in the left and the right, let's just let's just increase it and see that it's smaller now, and there should be room for other vignettes on the other sides. And if we decrease it, it actually gets bigger, because that means that only 80% of the, for example, setting it to 0.8 means that you can only see 80% of the vignette and the rest is cropped. So it's a somewhat weird convention, but if you think a little, everything makes sense. Now let's go back to the default view, and now let me show you how I added all those extra glitter that's even glittering when the parts have already vanished. And well, just a little story beforehand. When I first created this, it was an introduction sequence for a cool little cinema in Germany. And when I first showed them it, they well, I had got the criticism that there was too much glitter, too much shiny glare. What I did was I added even more glitter, and this way it became somewhat ironic and more cheesy, and yeah, they liked it and they laughed and it was funny, and I got bravo and stuff, and really got things done. And yeah, so the current one isn't glittering that much, so let's add quite a lot more cheesiness or schmaltziness to it to get this fairy-like 70s glam rock style. And well, at the end, the visibility of the parts is decreasing, and so is the strength of the diffuse. So we can't use the diffuse color for any more glitter here, even though our HDR has a very bright sun that really burns into the color of things. So What we need is we need to set up the specular in a way that it's also working in the transparency, and that's the default setting. The HDR will not influence the specular value, the specular on the current setup. So what we need to do is we need to add another lamp. And what I did, I added a point lamp, a spot lamp just behind the CG Tuts Plus logo. So when it dissolved, I got a really cool glitter all around. And so let's just add it. Add lamp spot, and it's already shining down to the downwards. Now let's see how things are working out. It takes a while until the first glitter goes down, but then very good, very good. We need to get the spotlight down a little bit. So let's put it somewhere here, maybe a little bit more downwards. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to make things broader and shorter. So let's change the size, the angle up very, very high. Sure would go nearly 180 degrees. Yeah, I don't think this needs any softness. And now let's see, I guess a lot of stuff will be inside this shape. I'd increase the distance a little. So now, yeah, now we got a lot of stuff inside, and I guess we can even go up a little more. Wow, this is extreme. I guess this will take quite a while to render, but you'll get a lot of benefits from it. Let's do a short test render, even at this not that strong setting. And don't forget, it should not affect diffuse, only the specular. And yeah, the energy, let's put it up to 30, so we got really extreme glittering going on. And now let's see what will the test render bring. Yeah, it's taking a little, seems like it's not really, this is weird. Let's take a look at, we need to go somewhere where it's nearly vanishing. And now let's see. And an alpha value of 0.001. This should be really only glitter and nothing else. And see, there's a few glittering stars. And not extreme enough, I guess. We should of course increase let's increase the specular intensity. And now let's see. Well, a very lame thing will work out a lot better, and if this doesn't work out, we'll just make the lamp a lot brighter. Still not really working, so let's select the lamp on again and put the energy up quite a lot. I say 100 is quite right. And the distance, wow, this is extremely bright now. Let's see. I guess this could work out this time. And bingo, perfect. Now what we need to check is whether the glare will affect anything at the beginning of our text. Let's just do a render at this frame and see whether the look of our text has changed dramatically. Because sometimes that's very good. That's extremely good. Now we should have perfect setup. There's just one thing that's not as cool now, because still since we have the glitter, the fading out of the particles won't work as it should. Let's select it here. They'll just go on, and then they'll be all vanished. So we'll need to change the life of the particles, so they start to, so a few of them will die earlier. And we can do this by increasing the length of our animations. So currently they all die here. And the only thing that we need to do is add a little random variation to the life. So let's first free all bakes, then check emission, and let's set a little random value. You can set this from 0 to 1. Ah, god damn it. This is some problem with the particle system. It will update everything now, and because I set it to a different value while the cache was cleaned and I wasn't at a frame where there is no work of the particle system. So yeah, this will be frozen for a while, and yeah, let's set it to let's set our timeline cursor to before the actual animation starts. I've got it at 0 now, or even, yeah, 0 is perfect. And now we can work on the settings and particles. This means, okay, let's set the random back to 0, and let's analyze what does this mean. Practically, the random variation is a number from 0 to 1. So you can also think of it as a percentage. So for example, if you set it to 0.1, 10% of the particles they will start to, no, the particles will start dying randomly 10% of the time earlier. So in this time we got a lifetime of 250 frames. So during the last 25 frames, particles will slowly start dying. So what we can do is change this, for example, to 290 to the end of our timeline. And now with a little math, let's say we could do a random variation of 0.2, which will means that right about 60 frames earlier, so around 230 or 240 frames, particle will start to die. And in the end there won't be any particles left, and so the glitter will be there, but it will start dying out. So we got at frame 220, our material has completely faded away and only the glitter is left. And 10 frames later, or maybe 15 frames later, the particles will start to vanish and the glitter will become less and less. So yeah, let's bake it, and I'll be back here in a minute when the baking is over. So free all bakes, bake, and so back again. I just did all the baking, and here's a little quick tip I forgot to tell you. And that's it: when you're doing an OpenGL preview render, it makes sense under display to set only render. And now if you render, you get a very good preview of things to come. And to show you how things might look like, I did a preview render of the current setup with the only render setting. So let's see how it looks. And yeah, that's pretty decent, right? And already pretty much like the final product. And here you see at the end that you might want to stop, or you might want to start the fade out a little later, because you've seen there's piece is flying directly towards the camera, which is looking pretty cool. And I also did a preview render with half the resolution. I'm showing you this right now to see. Yep, this is how things might be looking. And yeah, let me tell you, in the final product there will be a lot more glitter if you render at higher resolution, because at higher resolution you get you'll get more parts, more pixels that qualify for the glare node, so the you'll have way more glitter in the final resolution, or actually in any way, if you up the resolution, more glitter, cooler, way cooler. And now for a few tips on how to improve the or adjust this project for your needs. For example, maybe you want to have it way more of the final glitter, and as you can see here, it's when the force field goes through the text, things first go up and then they go down, which is actually a pretty cool effect, but you might want all the ultra heavy glitter from the very beginning. So to solve this, an easy way is to move the force field down a little, so it or no, up, sorry, move the force field up so the text first gets blown down and then thrown around. So well, that's one way to adjust it. And yeah, another way to adjust things is, of course, if you want less glitter of the final part, you can adjust the brightness of the lamp, the energy value that is, or the fall of distance, which means how many actually basically will mean how many of these particles will be in the so it's just this line, and beyond this line there is no more of the glitter anymore, and you see those particles don't glitter, those particles do. And if you set it to like 100, things change drastically. But let's set it all back like it is, go back to frame 1, save the project, so you got your file ready for action. And yeah, once again, this was Gottfried Karl Heinrich Hofmann from Robco Pictures, speaking for cgtutsplus.com. I hope you had fun with this a little more advanced tutorial, and yeah, see you next time. Maybe there will be some candle, I guess. I hope.